We're in today with the legendary GTX 295. This is a 2009 video card with 240 shaders. It's got 896 megabytes of VRAM GDDR3, running at 576 MHz on the core clock, 999 MHz on the memory clock, 448 bits bus width, DirectX 10, and today we're gonna pair it up with this i7 4th Gen with 4 cores and 8 threads. Today I have two of them in Quad SLI, and the best thing we can do for this monster of a setup is just jump in a couple of games and have some fun with them. Let's go. Alright, let's start with the left foot here and see how it's performing with S.T.A.L.K.E.R on 1080p with maximum details. Let me actually show you what I have. So I got full dynamic light, maximum details, 1080p. For a Quad SLI, I will say this is actually fantastic. Let me do a reset here and see how it's holding. So it's very important to understand what is going on here, you know. So the whole theme today was inspired by that 9800 GX2, and I was very shocked that I had nice temperature on those one because I swapped it with MX6, and I was like, yeah, you have to do the whole thing to the 295 and test the video cards here, you know. So came here, I prepared the video cards, and I was like, you know what, I have a spare one. It's a funny thing, I have 3 295, but they only work 2 in SLI. I mean, in Quad SLI, you cannot have 6-way SLI with them. It would be funny, seriously. But regardless, I said, you know what, I'm gonna use. I had a gain word, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna clean this one because I tested that video card and it was doing fantastic, and it was not opening. It had proper sealing, you know, the original sealing, the original thermal paste inside. 2008 video card, you know, and I was like, you know what, this is a good video card to actually put the thermal paste because it had the original stuff inside. I don't know what happened. I think I touched it with the screwdriver. I broke the video card. You understand? It managed to power on, but it only detected one single PCB, you know. It didn't output on the HDMI, but it showed me the blue light. It's got a blue light underneath, and it showed me that the video card is running with only one PCB. All in all, I had to do is just test other video cards, other PCB, other PCI connectors inside, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep this video card on the side, because if that is the only problems with a couple of components came off, maybe just opening it in the screwdriver's slip, maybe that is the problem. One capacitor near the PCI Express, that usually that one is disabling the performance on PCI Express, and on the back side when I put back the PCB, I think I put maybe a resistor or something, but I got a couple of spare ones, and hopefully in the future I'm gonna try to repair it. Maybe that is the problem, and I will get lucky with this type of repair. Hopefully that will be the end of it, you know. So okay, so all in all, I was disappointed, you know. I said, you know what, let me jump in with the video card that I know it's working and see how it's performing, because I got, look at this, 60, 80 FPS here on average. This is good, you know. So coming here with Quad SLI would have been okay, redemption, because I want to see 4 of them in SLI working, and it does the job. The only problem I have is the guy got my genetic thermal paste, but the question is it good or is it bad? Because this one has an IHS, it's got a metal heat spreader on top of the core. It's not like 9800 GX2 that has no metal plate on top of it, and that one managed to do a fantastic job. But here you can see that I got 62 with 66 degrees, 66 because it's the first video card, and the airflow on the one it's gutted. So I put a fan on the side so I can try to push as many air as possible. So it stays 60 degrees. That is good, you know, even with the generic thermal paste. So I'm not complaining on this situation, you know, but yeah, this was not the end of it, you know, because I knew this is going to work, but the first time I started the setup, it showed me red flickering on the screen. It's literally, the red was everywhere and it was flickering. I was like, oh no, this one is dying too. By the way, let's jump into Space Marines and see how it's performing here with Quad SLI, because this is a fantastic game to see on maximum details with 1080p. Look at this, 540 watts consumption. What the heck is going on? Alright, so temperature wise, how it's sitting, 67 degrees. It's pumping the air from the side, this is good, and it's ramping to 93%, you know, but like I said, I had red flickering on this setup, and I was like, okay, this is not okay, because this type of setup needs to be perfect. Like, what do you mean perfect? So it's got, in between the cards, it's got a cable for SLI, you know, SLI cable, you know, to connect two video cards together. So I tested 5 cables, SLI cables, and I was like, red flickering comes from this. Look at this, because the screen is good now, but before it was flickering everything red. You know, it's like a red tone. You can see the game, everything was working perfectly, the cores were working perfectly, temperature, but it was flickering. Like, what the heck is going on with that red flicker? And I was like, no, clean the connectors, swap the cables in between, up, down, nothing. Seriously, not a single solution, not a single fix. Seriously, with every single cable swap, nothing managed to work. Look at this, it's working really nice, no problems. Scaling is good. So yeah, I did everything in this situation and everything was not working. Look at this, how nice it's working. 74 degrees. That's not okay, because it's getting hot, the first video card. It's getting hot because it's being gutted, you know, the temperature on this doesn't suffice there, but 74 it's okay for this. Usually they go around 90 degrees and they are performing really well, but they are cooking themselves, you know, with 90 degrees. So I seen what they are doing whenever you have that temperature, and ideal would be to have 60-70 degrees and you keep the video card cool. But in Space Marines, you can see is doing fantastic, you know. So yeah, I will call this a big win for the video card, because yeah, I can say nothing better. Look at that, big, you know, smack this, smack him. You cannot do teabagging. It should have been really nice, seriously. Okay, so temperature wise, it's almost okay, you know. I think it needs a new Arctic Silver thermal paste, but I'm not gonna touch it until I fix that other one. Look at it, 597 watts consumption, 600 watts consumption. So it's okay, you know, with this, in this situation is doing okay. So scaling is good. Managed to find the problem in this case. So I can say that the game is doing great with 4 cores here, and there is no problem with 100% fan power. Ideal would be to have less thermals, but yeah, depending on the future how it's gonna perform with the new thermal paste. So if you put 60 FPS, yeah, you limit the FPS, look at the temperature, look at the load on the video card. It's only 200 megabytes of VRAM utilized now. There are some spikes here and there, but you can actually see the frame time is flat. 60 FPS is good. 180 FPS. Why do you need those one? Because I don't have a high refresh rate monitor. Back in the days in 2008, I had 1366 on the resolution, not 1080p. Oh, some spikes here and there, you know, but you can actually see everything is good now. 67 degrees, it's going down on the temperature. 66 is dropping, you know, fan speed is going down, temperature is going down, VRAM is not utilized at maximum, quality is still good. So ideal would be to have it like this, and instead of 600 watts consumption, now you got 319. Stop the excessive FPS that you don't need. When the game is not stuttering, this is actually good, but I wanted to show you the game, how it's performing in Quad SLI. This is a very interesting thing to see, because it's only working with two-way SLI. So the game was optimized. This is 1080p, by the way, 1080p with maximum details. So the game is optimized for 2 cores only. If you put 4 of them, yeah, because the developer, nobody's gonna have 2 GTX 295 in Quad SLI. Doesn't work. The second video card doesn't work. So first one is working. You can actually see the frequency 576 megahertz, and the second one 301. That means it's idling, you know. So it's not optimized for this case, you know. So yeah, I like it. I like this idea of testing games like this, because it shows me the true colors of the game, you know, and how it was optimized. I have to move very slowly because you see the stutter. This game is not very optimized to do that, you know. So yes, I like it. And by the way, Daniel, how did you manage to end up with the flickers? You know, how did you fix it? Well, you know what I've done next? I changed all the drivers in the computer. So the drivers for this setup is influencing the SLI. So if you put all the drivers, you're not gonna match them up. If you put newer drivers, it's gonna work really nice, but you have one small problem in the computer, it's gonna derail the whole thing. One small problem and the whole thing goes sideways. So I started from the best driver and went down on the hill until I managed to test a lot of drivers. I'm not joking, seriously. I have a 20-30 gig of folder with all drivers. After drivers, I managed to swap the position of the video cards, and I keep swapping them and trying to understand, you know, position up, down, testing the SLI cables in between, changing the position all the time. So no matter what I will do, there is no change in that flickering. So flickering in the screen is still happening, you know. By the way, when you're testing this, you have to restart the computer all the time and change the ports in everyone, you know, because sometimes when you play the game, you see, this DVI doesn't work really well. This one is showing me blue colors, this one is showing me red colors, this one is showing me green, this one is flickering, you know. Sometimes the port itself is going bad, you know. So I was swapping cables, swapping drivers, swapping ports every single time and doing every single permutation in trying to see which one is flickering. I was very angry on this setup. So I can guarantee you that the GTX 295 Quad SLI, it's gonna give you a diploma. When you finish installing them and making a setup like this is your SLI certificate after you manage to all jokes aside. How about Fallout 3? Let's jump in Fallout 3 and see how it's running with 1080p and ultra details. This is gonna be very interesting because last time I was here I had problems with the VRAM and it was stuttering. Okay, so in this situation with this, because it's got 890 something megabytes of VRAM, you can actually see it doesn't have any problems. It's allocating a lot of VRAM and it's processing 400 megabytes of VRAM. So if you look at the open world, you're gonna see that it's got a lot of legroom in order to buffer the whole texture and field of view. Look at this, 582 megabytes of VRAM. So the core is not utilized, even though it's 500 megabytes on the frequency. It's still okay. 60 degrees. It's staying really nice in this situation. So instead of actually going with MX6, I'm gonna test MX4 maybe, and see, maybe I get lucky on actually putting a proper thermapaste on it, you know, because MX6 is very thick, you know, and this one is got a metal spreader on top of the chip, and I think it needs something more liquidy, you know. So X4 maybe, I'm not an expert, I'm just saying as a beginner what I'm going to do with my situation here. Daniel, how did you manage to fix the flicker? I put the video cards independently and I found out that the model palette was flickering is standalone. So if the video card itself it's alone on each port, that means it's got some internal problems. So one video card itself managed to flicker and it had no chance on showing me the correct way. This is the important, because I tested the video card in each position, you know. I put every single position, every port, it doesn't matter, the good one, the bad one, PCI Express, it didn't matter which position I put, the flicker was there. You understand? So no matter which position you put, if one video card is got a problem, it's going to influence all of the SLI, you know. So you have to individually disassemble the whole thing and try to see which one is doing the problem. So I took the palette out and I managed to put the video card on the side. I opened just a little and touched the connector inside because it's got an internal SLI connector, and I tried again and it managed to come back. So I think that is something that I have to take a look in the future and see if I can get some spare cables, because I got a lot of dead GPUs and maybe I can put them on the side and maybe try to test a few, because it's very important to have the right parts here and maybe some cleaning for the connectors. It's very, very weird, this SLI combination, you know. So Quad SLI, it's an insane achievement. SLI standalone with this video card is an achievement, yet alone two of them in Quad. Look at this, Fallout New Vegas with maximum details on 1080p. I got a little more load, like 30-40%, I think. It's gonna reach 40%. It's got different type of temperature and more utilization on the VRAM, but still 60 FPS, 374 watts consumption. So all in all, I can say Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, they are almost on the same page, maybe a little more details, but it's running exactly the same almost. Every single time I start this setup and I have to come in this game because this is fantastic. This is scaling perfectly. It's utilizing the VRAM perfectly. Temperature wise, you know, like 56. Look, it's gonna reach 60 degrees because I opened the door and I let the new air come in and into the room, you know, so I have a different type of temperature in the room. It's good, you know, ambient temperature is very important for this type of setup. So if you have air conditioning or you have to open the windows or turn on the air conditioning, you have to make it pleasant even for the setup, you know. All jokes aside, it feels like when you finish a setup like this, you're gonna have a diploma, you know, like you finish a university. You know, it feels like the moment you master the SLI, you understand the components, how they are working and how to set them up. It's like you got a skill job, you know, like a blue collar skill job, metal working or welding or you know, manufacturing or something, you know. I'm not joking. It's very rewarding when you understand how it's performing and you have a couple of them working and a couple of boxes with dead 295s and understanding the process, you know, because you need to kill a couple of them in order to understand how they are performing. I like how it's performing. Seriously, they are scaling really nice. And in this game, perfect. This is good. This is a good game that knows how to utilize this Quad SLI. Seriously, this is a fantastic game. Now the question is, will you put more details? Because I'm on 1080p with low details. I got a lot of stutters here. Even though it's doing hundreds of FPS, you can actually see it's not very good with low FPS. So look at that, 90 FPS and keeps dropping on the FPS. So low details, it will be advisable. I think even lowering the resolution. I put 1080p because 1080p is the, you know, the MS Afterburner scaling, and in this situation you can see we got 600, nearly 700 megabytes of VRAM utilized. It's doing the job. There's no discussion in this case with the video card, but I wouldn't use it like this. Do I have maximum load on the cores? No, 70% load on the cores. Don't have minimal and 1% good in this case. You can actually see it's holding pretty bad in this case, but it does the job on delivering the FPS. 632 megabytes of VRAM is good. 69 degrees on the temperature is okay. I think I have to put air conditioning if I want to keep this setup like this on 1080p, but averaging okay-ish theoretically. 60-70 degrees, it's still on the positive temperature. Does it run Crysis? Let's ask the question. Let's see the settings. Let's see how it's performing and jump into a couple of modes. And oh my god, it's 50 FPS. Let's do a reset here. I don't know what settings I have, but it looks fantastic, you know. It looks like maximum details. All right, let's see. Explosions wise, oh, 45 FPS on minimal, 5 on 1%, not okay. Okay, it's dropping down. 35 on minimal is not the right FPS. Look at that. Oh my, that's a big explosion, seriously. Let's demolish some buildings. Let's see how it's performing. That one doesn't come down, I understand. So got another car. Look at that. In brilliant performance here. Let's take this building down. Look at this. Performance. Oh man, the effects on the explosions is great. Whoa, this is cool. This is a cool performance from this. All right, so I got 35 FPS on minimal and 12 on 1%. Let's go into the settings and see what we got. High details, not very high, high details. Do I have any anti-aliasing? No, it's without anti-aliasing. So you know what? I will take it. I think on medium details, this setup is going to do great. The problem is it's 60% load on the core. That's okay. You know, I got 72 degrees on the first core, but I got 889 megabytes of VRAM utilized. So high details from this game, I managed to put the video card down because it's saturating the VRAM. And in this occasion, Crysis is not okay with this. You know, the moment you reach one bottleneck, it's gonna stutter. Look at the frame time. You know, so I think that if I want to keep 1080p with this, not ideal, you know, because it will be 720p 1366, then you can put like high details or medium details and you're gonna have a lot of nice performance, you know. So look at it, look at this stutter. Oh, it's not great, seriously. I put 60 FPS. Now if I put 60 FPS, Oh, I almost got it. Seriously, I almost got it. With 60 FPS, apparently the VRAM doesn't go down, but it's on the limit. 889 megabytes of VRAM. I think that if I put 900p, it's gonna do wonders. With 60 FPS on the limit, this is the edge, you know. And I think you're gonna find the right performance here, you know. So I like it because this game always pushes the SLI or Crossfire, whatever I have, to the limit, and it shows me the true colors of it, you know. So yeah, I'll take it. On the other hand, Skyrim is doing a fantastic job on 1080p with maximum details here. Half of the core is utilized. You can actually see 50-60% load on the GPU's core. It's good with the video card. I got 800 megabytes of VRAM allocated here and 700 processed. In this situation, the whole thing is good, you know, doesn't have any problems. 450 watts consumption. So yeah, Quad SLI, it's meant for this, even though the year is totally different, you know, because I think that if you put one video card like this, it's gonna be a totally different performance. Even though I got 50-60% load on the core, usually people don't put GTX 295 in Quad SLI in the computers to play Skyrim, you know. So sometimes you're gonna find people who are gonna have one GTX 295 and is going to put it in a good position to play some old games, you know. So if somebody's got one video card like this, 295, you're gonna, well, let's play some old games with this and we're gonna see how it's performing, you know. So a retro machine with one GTX 295, it's plausible, not two GTX 295. That's enthusiast. Even though the video card itself is enthusiast, that's Quad SLI, it's extreme enthusiast, you know. So this is bananas what I'm doing here. One GTX 295, it's a plausible video card for an extreme retro machine. That's it, you know. So with one video card like this, 295 on 1080p with ultra details, is gonna be problematic because now I got 4 cores, and with 2 cores is gonna be on maximum load. So 881 megabytes of VRAM, it's okay theoretically for the video card, but with only 2 cores, with 60% now because I got 4, is gonna be a little harder. So 1080p, more like 720p or 1366. Daniel, how about some Left 4 Dead here? Because this is an older title, and I think that if you put it in the right condition, you're gonna get nice FPS. Look at this, 60 FPS. Do I have an unlimited video? I'm gonna go in the settings with full screen 1080p and have maximum details, and I think multi-core, enable VSync. How about we disable this one, see how it's performing without VSync? Oh, definitely good performance here. Look at this, hundreds of FPS, only 400 megabytes of VRAM utilized. Ideal game for this setup. Seriously, I think this shot is the perfect combination. Quality wise is good. 70 degrees on the first core. It's because I got like 50-60% load here with this. I got a lot of load on the video card because I got 200 FPS on average. So in this case, I can't say nothing bad about it. I think the best thing I can do is limit the FPS based on the monitor I have. Scaling, fantastic performance, and on the temperature side, I got like 72 degrees. It's okay, you know. I got an external fan because I need to put air in between the video cards, but aside from that, everything is good. Quality, performance, it's got single player, so if you're interested on playing with old hardware, you got the options in this case. I don't know what you're saying, but to get a brand new video card like a RTX 50 series nowadays, you know, with 2 years warranty, or finding a GTX 295 and playing some old games with this, I think this GTX 295 will get me excited even more than a brand new video card. Because with a brand new video card, I know what I'm expecting, you know, and I can't say nothing good about it because I know, you know, I pay money for it, it's brand new, and I'm expecting it to work, you know. If it doesn't work, I send it back, and that's it, you know, the expectation of my money. But in this case, you can actually see that with this video card, it's totally different, you know, the performance, everything is here. It's more exciting, you know, to see Black Ops here with the GTX 295, considering how old is this video card with this game. I would say it's very entertaining, you know, to see this type of hardware were running even today. Let's see what we got here. Maximum details, 1080p, everything is spot on with this. So if I'm interested on Black Ops, there is a chance with this. Not a lot of people will put 2 GTX 295 in Quad SLI, but in this case you can see that it's holding okay. All right, how much temperature we got? 74 degrees. It's heating up because I got started to get like 77% load on the cores, 80%. Well, I got 1080p with maximum details in Black Ops 2. I think this video card needs to be better with a faster GPU with higher bandwidth, faster memory and stuff like that in order to distress it. 295. This game on 1080p with maximum details, it's something on steroids, seriously. Listen, this is an awesome game, and I think this is the most important thing to realize, that there's a lot of games that work really nice with the GTX 295. I think this game we managed to test it with the 9800 GX2 and it did fantastic. So in this situation you can see it's not fully stressed, you know, so 60-70% load per core is good. I got 300 megabytes of VRAM utilized with 1080p and maximum details. This is how the video card needs to be utilized, you know, not with 1 gig of VRAM maxed out, you know, like I did in Battlefield. No, that's not the way. This is the way in this case. In some situation you're gonna find games that don't work really nice, but you don't have to keep them, you know, just go for the games that are working nice, you know, that heats up your room with 570 watts consumption in this case. So in this situation I will say, you know what, this game it's utilizing the computer similar with the 9800 GX2. Quality, lights, illumination, look at the ray tracing. This is pure ray tracing, yeah? Look at that. Okay, all jokes aside, you know, performance is good based on the utilization and the temperature. So GTX 295 apparently is doing similar performance like 9800 GX2. I think a little better in this case because it's utilized less. There is option for this type of setup only if you're interested, you know, and if you want to build an old machine, you know. So last time I did an optimization in this case and with 60 FPS, and it managed to drop on 30% load on the core. So if I put 60 FPS, it's gonna drop below 50% and it's gonna be around 300 watts. This is what you need to put in a game like this. The only thing that matters is that at the moment I only have 2 alive. I had 3 alive, I had 1 backup, and it's killing me inside, seriously, because if something happens with this I will be heartbroken. 295. I had this in the, this is how I started in the collection, you know, to have a GTX 295, you know, and at the beginning I started making views on YouTube with 295, and it's like whole house name, you know, is like 295 needs to be in this channel, you know, always, you know. I have to learn about them, I have to do maximum about it, and I'm gonna show always everything about this video card, you know. 295 is my shtick, you know. You know, listen, 295 is a fantastic video card, and I think that if you can manage to put your hands on, just go for it. It's worth it. That's it. You know, I can't say nothing bad, good about it, because it's a very unique video card. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just unique, you know. Hard to maintain, hard performance, high temperature, very hard to find them. It's like, what the heck is going on with this video card? You need a master class in order to have this video card. How to maintain it, how to use it, temperature wise, what's wrong with it, diagnosing, it's a lot. But the moment you achieve everything and you have one that is fully functioning, you cannot take that experience back. Seriously, you cannot take that experience. The moment you experience how it's performing at best, in the best condition, you'll be like, yeah, this is a very good retro GPU, seriously. That's it. I can't say nothing bad about it because it did exactly what I want. If you have any suggestion for this video card or for the system, leave a comment, smash that like button, and I will see you very soon.